guys, what's up? So in this video I'm going to give you a full guide breakdown on the mid-budget Poison SRS. Now I know previously the updates are like very vague, so this video is going to be long. It's more towards players that are new or coming back, or like you need an in-depth breakdown of how this build actually works. I'm going to go through every single thing you need to know about this build, from like my Google spreadsheets on like what to buy, your trade items, trade links, sorry, and then skill gems, Animate Guardian, your items, skill trees, mercenaries, which is awesome this late, what you can farm, what you cannot farm, how to farm stuff like T70 maps, what you should focus on, so on and so forth. Alright, so really long video. If you already know this build inside out, then just skip it and look at the POB yourself. It should be very straightforward. Alright, okay, so very quick intro. This build has actually upgraded from tanky to almost unkillable if you don't take like crazy repeat stuff. But yeah, I have not been dying a lot ever since I changed to this build, other than me being very greedy myself with modifiers on the map. But other than that, it's very hard to die. Even your Spectres and minions are hard to die in T17s once you actually go the full-fledged. So I have the league starter version of the SRS. It is not the poison, but it's a normal one where you go physical and fire damage. And to transit from that into here, you just basically need three things. One is United in Dream, which is your weapon here. And then you need a Darkness Enthroned, which is this with the jewel, Ghastly Eye jewel for chance to poison. Alright, this is actually what you need for this build to actually go into Poison SRS, and of course change your ascendancy to actually have unnatural strength. This is like the best part of this build. Right, so yep, and then I will say the bare minimum for this build to actually perform decently is it costs about 20 divines. It costs about 20 divines around there, or slightly lesser. It really depends on market economy, but as of now I think it's about 16 divines, right? And then the full-fledged version and the upgrades will probably cost about 40 divines. Alright, honestly, most of the items is like going into the mercenary. So after this league, if mercenary does phase out, it's gonna be way lesser. And then yeah, currently the full-fledged version I am farming T17 maps very well. Very tanky. I can kill the boss very smoothly as well, as long as you know what you're rolling for in the map modifiers. The map is gonna be juicy. And good, and at the same time you can actually level up as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go through next on the Google spreadsheet for beginners and newcomers that do not know what it is. Alright, so this is my Google spreadsheet. You can actually find the link in the description below where you can find my PoE builds, and this is all of the builds that I've done previously. I've deleted a lot already, but this is the remaining ones. And just find Poison SRS, and you can see this is the link where you can go here and it shows you roughly how much is it, the cost breakdown, and there are like trade links over here where you can just click, and this is literally what you need to buy for the build. Right, I have segregated them in according to jewels, equipments, class, Animate Guardian, Spectres, mercenaries, and skill gems. Right, so it's very well defined. I hope it's quite straightforward. If there is any of them that are wrong, do let me know and I'll quickly change them. So yeah, your POB is here as well. There will be some items that you have to craft yourself, or I would say I would prefer you to craft yourself because it's much cheaper and better. So for the instructions, just look at this column J. It will be like steps for crafting, and it's very straightforward as well. Okay, it's very straightforward as well, so I hope this is more than enough for you guys. Another thing I want to mention is, because we have the mercenary this round, there will be cheap alternatives you can use. So it's actually, like I said previously, it's actually not that expensive. It's not 32 diff, it's like about 10 diff only, or 12 diff. If you do not buy all the expensive stuff, you still can run the build. Okay, you still can run the build and you can progress very smoothly. Skill gems wise, other than the awakened gems, they are actually also pretty cheap. I did not even buy any of the skill gems. I leveled them up myself, even at quality 0%. Alright, and I'm doing fine. So, yep, this is where you can find all the trade links and you can just click there and buy it one by one. There is really no order on what you should buy, but I will discuss much later in my notes what you should prioritize to buy when you're transiting from the normal variant to the poison variant. Alright, now this is the skill tree. This is for level 95. I would say the bare minimum you can actually play is 90, but if you want to play level 80, sure, fine, by all means. Just remove some life nodes, just remove some minion damage nodes, you'll be all good. Okay, like you can remove this. What else is there? You can also remove the leech also, to be honest. And then you can remove how many more points? There's 3 more points. Yeah, you can remove this as well. It's not difficult, alright? And then, you know, just go back to the usual when you are level 90. It's not hard. Okay, so yep, I am going to go through right now. So the optimum build, I will say, where it's smooth to play is actually level 95. Right, at level 95 is smooth. I'm going to go through the skill tree very in depth, right? Because this is a full build, full guide. So once you go up, you're going to take this minion mastery circle where your SRS has more duration, more minion damage also, and your mastery is going to be accuracy rating. We need this accuracy rating, alright? Otherwise, your SRS is going to miss a lot. And then moving up, this is the life nodes, but you are actually not taking this life mastery, alright? So there are 2 masteries that you have taken here, but you're going to replace it with rune graphs, which you can purchase in-game. What the other one is here, but the rune graphs is not available on POB, so I actually put it in the configuration. It's like right here. Let me see if I can. Yep, I can drag down. So the rune graph is here. You can see one is rune graph of fortress, the other is rune graph of the warp. It gives you 40% global defense, and it gives you debuffs on you expire 30% faster. Debuffs meaning like poison, so on and so forth. Alright, and then slow and whatsoever. Buffs on you expire 30% slower. So this means like shrine, nickel sulfides, stuff like that, or even like the ore deposit stuff. It's really good. Like example, if you take shrine, usually it's about 1 minute, but with this, it's gonna give you like 1 minute 30 seconds. It's very long. It's very long. Alright, it's worth it. Okay, and then going right side, we have this Mystic Bulwark, which gives you additional block spell damage, and we want this mana mastery for reservation efficiency. Next is the Leech Mastery. Okay, this is actually very useless. Like the whole entire wheel is useless. We only want this Leech Mastery 5% because of the note here, Bone Barrier. Your minions is leech to you as life. Okay, so the reason why we want this 5% leech is instant is because there are so many minions doing so much damage. Your life is almost always at full. Okay, it's very disgusting. Yep. Eldritch Battery. We are not going to use mana for our SRS and all the other spells that we are casting, so Eldritch Battery is going to be it. ES is going to be transferred into mana, and this is where you're going to have a lot of ES. You can see our ES is about 3000. Cluster over here, large cluster. I know that most of the minion builds actually use the 12 passive, but I'm going to only use 8 because of how starved for points we are in this build, right? I understand that there is a lot of benefits from the smaller nodes for minions, but I've actually calculated the difference is not a lot. The difference is really not a lot, and I think allocating to other nodes that gives you survivability, more quality of life, more realistic values, it's much better than just pumping everything into damage and then you just can't do some of the maps at all. Right, so that's why I opt for the 8 cluster jewel, and I choose for Claw to the Slaughter. So some of you might ask, why Claw to the Slaughter? Question mark. Just one of this node actually gives you a lot of damage. Minions created recently have 10% increased attack speed and cast speed. You are constantly going to be always right clicking your SRS, so your SRS is almost always going to have increased attack speed. Okay, almost always. And then the smaller nodes is just minions have damage and stuff. The strength here is not mandatory, but you can have them, you know. So you can change to like chaos or whichever you like. Alright. And then you're gonna have a small cluster jewel. This one is going to have you're gonna need a 3 passive one with 6% increased mana reservation efficiency, and you just find something with 25% increased effect. The rest of the small passive is not needed, but best is to have them, right? Like 4% chaos resistance and stuff like that is really a nice addition to it. Medium cluster duo, this is something new I've added into the build, and what I'm looking for here is life from death. So minion have 15% increased max life. You regenerate 2% of life per second if a minion has died recently. Now this one is almost at a full uptime. So whenever you have 20 stacks of SRS, and whenever you cast another SRS again, it's going to be 100% that one SRS is going to die, right? So if one SRS is going to die, you're going to regenerate 2% of life per second, and then that's where the third line comes in. Minions recover 4% of life on minion death, right? This is in conjunction to this mastery also, where minions recover 5% of life on minion death. So total is 9%. Your minions are almost not going to die. Like the first minion that is going to die is probably your Stone Golem. That is the only possibility, right? And then I'm going to put Quickening Covenant here, where your minions have increased attack speed and chance to suppress damage. Not a lot of defense, but better than nothing. Alright, moving on the left side. Next is Mind Over Matter. Now, we are going to use this because we have so much ES, and 40% of damage is taken from mana before life. Your ES is going to be over your mana, so which means 40% of damage is going to be taken from your ES. This is going to be our third layer of defense, which is really awesome, okay? Yeah, it just gives and makes the build so much more tankier. Okay, on the left side we have all this, which is more or less the same. I'm not going to go through that. Remember, this is the life mastery. So actually I can show you right now. This is my in-game skill tree. You can see I have the rune graph of the warp and then rune graph of the fortress. Alright, there are just these 2 life mastery right here. Okay, on the left side you're just going to take all of these nodes for minion damage, and this is something new that I added into this build also, Fortress Covenant. I only found out that actually it does not block anything because we do not take any life nodes over here, so it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice because it doesn't block anything, and we're just gonna have the full effect of Fortress Covenant over here. And when you go down, you can see all of this also. I've taken 2 points here and put the last socket with Watcher's Eye. Okay, Watcher's Eye, you just want to have 800 armor and chance to block attack damage, and because of the chance to block attack damage, you do not need to allocate the shield mastery over here. And the Watcher's Eye is probably like 1 or 2 diff only. Yeah. And of course we have Glancing Blows so that we can max our block chance. Right, the rest is just protection mastery with additional max elemental resistance and immunity to corrupted blood. Okay, so this is the skill tree. Oh yeah, right, I need to go through this also, I'm sorry. So for ascendancy wise, Commander of Darkness, definitely. Mindless Aggression basically just give you more life and damage, and this is the awesome one. Bone Barrier is the awesome one because it gives you physical damage reduction. 1% of damage dealt by your minions is leached to you as life. Now this line is very interesting. So you will actually see modifiers on a map that tells you you cannot leech, but it's players cannot leech. So when you have that and you go into the map, your minions are actually still leeching for you because the minions are leeching, not the players are leeching. Right? It's very unique, this line here. Minions gain 40% of maximum life as ES. This is also very nice so that your minions, like SRS, when it's created, you don't die straight away, and your Animate Guardian, your your Spectres will be extra tanky as well. Okay, so yup, that's it for the level 103, right? I will just take extra max resistance over here and the armor over here, just for more defenses because you already have the damage. Alright, next time I'm going to go through the skill tree. So 6 link SRS, we're going to use obviously SRS Unleash. So I know some of you might be asking like, why do we still use Unleash if you're going to like right click every single time, right? So your first cast of Unleash SRS is going to have like 5 SRS or 6. This is going to be the point whereby you actually have a lot to clear, a lot more SRS is being summoned, and your first wave of pack is going to be easier to clear as well. Otherwise, it's also there in a sense that every 4 seconds or 3 seconds, you can just press your right click one time and walk through the map. When you're fighting bosses, you are going to consistently click right click. So if you're fighting bosses, I know some of you might think like, oh, the Unleash is so useless, what are we using that for? Here, let me show you, alright? Every time I hold right click on the Unleash, it's gonna summon one SRS. But Unleash is a concurrent thing, which means even though you're holding onto the right click, alright, Unleash is gonna have a cooldown whereby it's gonna have stacks. So you can see on here, it's always having like 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. When it's 1, it's actually gonna cast 2 SRS at the same time, right? So you're going to alternate in between every 1 second by casting 1 SRS and 2 SRS, and if you're lucky, it's either 2 or 3 SRS because of the quality. So it's always 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and because you're casting so fast, you can see I have maximum stack very quickly. Alright, let's just wait for all of it to gone. I'm going to show you again, right, how long it takes to get maximum stack. So here we go. 1, 2, 3 seconds. Holding the right click with 3 seconds just gives you a max stack at, of SRS at 20 counts. That's why the Unleash is important. If you do not have Unleash, here, let me just take it out for you. Okay, this is no Unleash. Alright, no Unleash. I'm going to count how much I take to get max stack. Alright, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is 6 seconds. Alright, 6 seconds. If you notice, the first few times I just got lucky by summoning more, right? If not, ideally it's about 6 to 7 seconds. That is a lot of difference when you are fighting the bosses, especially when the boss kills your SRS. You need this small time frame to always maximize your SRS count. Right, the next is Awaken Unbound Ailment, Awaken Minion Damage, Multi-Strike. You do not need Awaken Multi-Strike, that's too crazy for the price of it. Awaken Melee Splash. All of these Awaken, you can always use the default and normal version first. These are like upgrades which you will do much later on. Okay, Aura, we are going to use Val Haste, Temper Shield, Val Discipline, and Precision. So why Val Haste? We are always using Determination. Yes, we have Determination right now, but it's on the Spectre. That's why I am using Val Haste over here. Val Haste gives so much more damage. It gives you movement speed, which is actually what I like. Minion builds in general are just not fast. Val Haste is really perfect and nice to actually clear your maps that is like just not at a tortoise rate, right? You can change this to Malevolence, of course. It is going to give you more DPS, but yes, DPS for bossing wise, but if you are going to map and do some other stuff, I would say Val Haste is much better, right? It's more smooth. And then Val Discipline, yes, there is a Spectre that give you Discipline as well. So why are we using this? Number one, when you are doing maps or when you are in a degen ground or whatever, your ES is not going to regenerate. So if you are below like 25% ES and you're not regenerating, how are you going to survive? How are you going to constantly like keep summoning your SRS? And this is where Vile Discipline comes in, because it solves this problem. So example like Burning Ground, Desecrated Ground, Cyrus degen, Searing Exarch degen, alright, you're going to take a lot of damage and your ES is probably going to be 0. All you need to do is pop the Discipline, and then simple. When you pop the Discipline, your ES is just going to keep recharging. You're going to keep summoning your SRS. Your SRS is going to constantly clear, and eventually your ES is going to be maxed again. So that's the reason we are not running Vitality, we are running Precision instead. And this is because you don't really need Vitality. Vitality, we have the aura on our Spectres, which I'll go through later. So yes, Precision, just get whatever level you can until you cannot get it. Alright, minion support, Raise Spectra, minion life, AG, I'll go through that later. Utility wise, it's just using Arcanist Brand, one button, then they will cast for you. Desecrate, Flash Offering, and Despair. Really nice one button click right here. Right, I do not know why this is not this way. Yep. And then you still have Generosity. So Generosity is just giving you increased effect. You do not need Awaken Generosity, alright? It just buffs you by very little bit only. Stone Golem, make sure you have the quality as well, so that it gives you more life, taunts, and it gives you additional buff effects. Feeding Frenzy, and the Guard skill automation plus Steel Skin. So you can use Molten Shell also, but I prefer Steel Skin because it grants immunity to bleeding. Okay, so it's personal preference choice. And then we have Flame Dash and Temp Chains from Mercenary. Actually, our Temporal Chains is now from Mercenary, so I'm going to save this right now. Right, and this is for your skill gems. Alright, you don't have to change Awaken Mini Splash. So I know some of them, when they fight boss, they actually do Ruthless. Right, you can see, yes, the damage is very high, but single target only. Okay, I would say there will be a lot of times when you fight even Uber Pinnacle bosses, this Awaken Mini Splash is actually so useful, because sometimes they will spawn more monsters, and some monsters might be like unique, rare, and they can be a little bit difficult to kill, and this is where Awaken Mini Splash comes in handy. So yup, this is the skill gems that we are going to use. Alright, next is the item. Now I want you to focus this very, very, very carefully, because this is important. This section is very important. Right? So first up is our default item. This is what we're gonna be wearing. United in Dreams. Okay, this is mandatory. This is what gives you the chance to poison enemies on hit. And then next we have our Aegis Aura. This is kind of more or less like the 4th layer of defense. It just makes you so tanky. Alright, recover energy shield equal to 2% of armor when you block. So you can see now my armor is 21,000. Alright, let me just bring up the calculator real quick. 20,000, give you 20,000, you multiply by 2%, 400. Every time you block, you are going to get 400 ES. And because of glancing blows, our block is like max out. Most of the time you're going to block, and most of the time you're just going to get a ton of ES. A shit ton of ES. There is a lot of it. And Aegis Aura just gives you a lot of armor and ES as well. Just the item itself, it gives you maximum cold resistance also, and this is just very, very perfect for this build. Right, helmet, just get something. You gotta craft this. Alright, craft this exactly. It is not difficult. What you want is the +1 to level of all minion skill gems. Just +1 will do. I'm not asking you to get a +2. Alright, the +2 is expensive, but this is just sufficient enough already. Body armor, the Covenant, this is what makes SRS so powerful and so strong. It's socketed by level 29 added chaos damage. Right, and because of this body armor, we have a lot of ES as well. Glove, same, just life resistance and ES. Same for the boots, life resistance and movement speed. The amulet, we're going to use Jinx Juju and allocate Death Attunement. Okay, Death Attunement is here. Basically, it gives you +1 Spectra. Right, and then next we're gonna have our rings. So the rings is also very easy to craft. Just get a fractured life ring, throw in a dex essence, and then just get something, any one of the resistance that is like 40+%, and then you can harvest change in there to match whatever that you need. Alright, the last one will be the belt, which is Darkness Enthroned. This is also mandatory because what you want on here is, on the Ghastly Eye Jewel, is just life and 12% chance to poison enemies on hit. This is going to give us 40%, which is what we are lacking after United in Dreams. Right, flask wise, just use all of them, gain 2 charges when you're hit by enemy, and then okay, wait, so sorry, so this is not movement speed, this is supposed to be, yep, this is supposed to be this. Regenerate 3% of life per second, and then your amethyst flask is, you do not have this. Let me remove it quickly. So Quicksilver flask just have this, granite flask increase armor, quartz flask increase, reduce effect of curse, amethyst flask reduce effect of chill. Why we have this is because we are not 100% immune to chill, so this flask gets it, the flask suffix gets it done. And then Basalt flask for more additional armor and 60% additional elemental resistance. So why do we still need elemental resistance when we are capped already? When you're taking player altars from Searing Exarch or Eater of World, sometimes you might encounter debuffs or like the downside where you have 40 to 50% reduced resistance. That is why I always overcap my resistance by 50%. Okay, by 50%. And yeah, the rest is basically self-mandatory. I don't really need to explain to you. You do not need to have the suffix on this specific flask mode, alright? You can mix and match around. Alright, next one will be equipment for Animate Guardian. So, number 1 is Dying Breath. Okay, Dying Breath is the go-to. And then Leer Cast is the second one. These two will be like always on it. The next one will be your body armor. Now your body armor can have a lot of variations. You can have expedition and because nearby enemies are chilled, and then you basically just gives you another layer of defense where their action speed is lower, they are moving slower as well. It's really very good. Gloves, Soul Ascension. This is what I give my Animate Guardian. Okay. Now I know a lot of people is going to debate with me like, what the heck, why Soul Ascension? Very simple. You eat a soul when you hit a rare or unique enemy, no more than once every 0.5 second. When you eat a soul, this soul does not disappear. This is how powerful Soul Ascension is right now. Okay? And you should have a max stack of 45, so I think so your Animate Guardian, right, just becomes very tanky, very big and very tanky, and you will not have issues where your Animate Guardian die even throughout the map most of the time, right? So it's really really nice right here, plus it gives chaos resistance as well. Boots, Weight of Destruction, it drops shock ground while moving. I can't seem to find any other best in slot boots right here, so I'm just gonna put this. You can use Legacy of the Fury, but Scorch doesn't really do anything, so I rather just drop Shock Ground, even though it's not useful, but I don't know, there's really nothing else better to put already. Okay, there is really nothing else better to put. Otherwise, you can just put a really flat, high flat armor boots on here. Okay, next is the Mercenary, so the new addition to this league. Weapon, we want to use the Dark Seer. This is the best. Okay, enemies planted by you have Malediction. Malediction means enemies take 10% more damage. Okay, I should just show you guys right here. So for those of you that does not know what is Malediction, I'm going to pull out and show you. 10% reduced damage dealt. That is on the monster, and 10% increased damage taken. So they're gonna deal 10% less damage, and they are gonna take 10% damage also. This is the best in slot. Alright. And oh yes, sorry, before that, your Mercenary, you're gonna want to use a Strength and In Mercenary. Okay, so what I am using is basically this one over here. Let me just show you. It's a War Priest, where it uses Smite, Holy Relic, Ray Spectra and Purity of Lightning. Okay, really nice over here. So this is what you want so that we can equip all of these items. Next is the shield, where it is the anticipation. So I know a lot of people are not using this shield on their mercenary. However, I choose to use this. Why? It permanently intimidate enemies on block. Permanently. Okay, so it's gonna block a lot of the time, I would suggest. And whenever it blocks, it just intimidate them, which means they're gonna take 10% more damage. Simple. And when they block, they're gonna get a shit ton of armor. A lot of armor. A lot of armor. We don't need the upgraded one. We want this because we want to intimidate enemies. Okay? Helmet. Thunderside. I don't know what other helmets to use. This is... I feel this is the better one. It has a chance to set enemies. So, not bad, I guess. And then body armor is Guard of the Ephemeral. Okay, this is very expensive this league because of the Mercenary. This body armor is gonna help you farm T17 very smoothly. Okay, nearby allies' action speed cannot be modified below base value. Nearby enemies cannot deal critical strike. There is 2 of these in T17 map modifiers that you encounter so often, and this is just going to eliminate that option. Very good body armor right here. SRS glove. This is what makes Mercenary awesome for this build also, because it explodes. It explodes, so when you jump in, your Mercenary is going to start hitting them, and when one monster dies, it's going to explode the rest of them, which is so good. Which is so good for map clearing, and also this is what we need in the build. Right, map clearing, so that's why SNF is under the Mercenary equipment. Boots, Windscreen, so that you have SNF Gentle Touch, you can cast another curse. Amulet will be the Ignomon. Okay, Ignomon, whereby you have 1% to all maximum resistance now. This is not expensive, this is like about 30-40 C only. And this pairs extremely well with Darkseer. Okay, because nearby enemies you blind have Malediction. So Ignomon is nearby enemies are always blinded. So you do not need to rely on this 10% global chance to blind enemies on hit. Okay. Ring is I just wait for this the hub of all rings because it gives you attribute, gives you elemental resistance. It's just really good. Belt, Calm's Binding. Okay, nearby enemies convert 21% of their physical damage to fire, and because of that, we are going to have max cap fire rest also. It's just some methods of eliminating physical damage. Yeah, because physical damage is usually the one that one-shot all of us. So this is a really good belt. The other option is you can actually use a Grave Binder and Headhunter, but I wouldn't really recommend so. Right, so this is the Mercenary equipment. If the Darkseer is too expensive, you can use Singularity first. If body armor is too expensive, you can use the Brass Dome first. Okay, there are cheaper alternatives for that. Okay, I'm going to explain the Spectres right now. So the Spectres, we're going to use 3 of them. Number 1 is Perfect Forest Warrior. Perfect Forest Warrior is going to give you Sunder. No. It's just going to give... Wait, maybe I should just bring up. Okay, sorry, my bad. So, Perfect Forest Warrior. This Spectre is going to give you Onslaught and Cowling Strike. Okay, nearby highlights have Onslaught. This is permanent Onslaught. Okay, permanent Onslaught is really just very good. And Cowling Strike just to cow small little bosses, which you can see in the gameplay afterwards also. Alright, the next one we're gonna use is Perfect Warlord. Okay, so what does Perfect Warlord do, right? Perfect Warlord. It basically gives you Enduring Cry and Vitality. Okay, Enduring Cry, basically when it cries, it gives you endurance charges and it regenerates your life a lot. And Vitality, of course, I don't need to say, it shares endurance charges with allies. All of them. Okay, I just call again. You can see our endurance charges, right? So you have to cast my SRS. All of my SRS will have endurance charges. Look. Boom. See? All of them have 3 endurance charges. This is very good. Like, really just makes the build extremely tanky as well. Okay, so perfect warlock, and the last one is perfect guardian turtle. This is, I think, the best addition to this build. Wow, or prefect. Very bad. Here you go. I think this Spectre is so underrated. Okay, first of all, it gives you wrong Gokurais boon. Okay, it's a buff that basically grants you immunity to all sort of damage for a while. How long, I am not sure. I didn't really look into it, but I know it's for a few seconds, and it's really good. It buffs owner with 5% damage, physical damage reduction, and then it casts determination. Now this determination scales with the corpse level, so please be mindful when you buy it. Okay. So yeah, the turtle is huge, as you can see from here. Right, the turtle is huge. It doesn't really attack and it walks very slowly, but it will teleport beside you when you are too far, so it's almost always near you. Okay, it's almost always near you, and this is what is nice over here. So this is the 3 Spectre we will be using, which makes the build so tanky and so good. Alright, yep, and this is for the animate, no, this is for the Spectres, sorry. Now I'm going to go through my notes. So this will be the mods that you should take note on your map. So first up, mods you definitely cannot have on your map. Players have so and so less recovery rate of life and energy shield. You absolutely cannot take this even if you are not doing top hat. It's very, very dangerous. If you are doing top hat on your LSQ3, this is 100%, which means you're not going to recover ES at all. Okay, the only source of you recovering ES is through your Prism Guardian, which is insane. Right, so definitely not this. Monsters have a percentage chance to avoid poison, impure, and bleeding. If you run this, the monster is going to have 100% chance to avoid poison, and that eliminates all our damage. So nope. Mods that are dangerous on your map. Players have reduced effect of non-curse aura. Players have 12 to 9% maximum resistance. Players have less armor and block. These are dangerous, but they are doable. Okay, doable, you just need to be careful. And then additional thing that I added here is T70 maps to avoid. So as long as you have 3 or more damage modifier on your map, please just reroll, otherwise they are going to be very rippy. Right, next is players have less recovery, avoid poison. Players have 20% to all, minus 20% to all maximum resistance. If you have top hat, this is like 30%. So please do not. Monsters fire 2 additional projectiles. Now starting when I thought like, okay, this is nothing much. But in game when you actually meet characters or monsters that have additional, that shoots projectile, this thing is so dangerous because the hitbox is ridiculous and it can just one-shot you a lot of time. Right? Players have less 50%, players minions have less attack speed. This is self-explanatory, I don't need to go through. Monsters have 50% chance to block attack damage. If they block, means you will not poison. Okay, so please do not take this. It's 75% chance for top hat. Players that have minions do no damage. Of course not. Rare monsters have volatile cores. Now you can ignore this, but every time I take this mod, I always die. I always die because the volatile cores are so painful. It once hit you. Every time. There's just no way to avoid it. Okay. Rare unique monsters remove 5% of life. You definitely do not want to do this because when you are fighting bosses or large pack of monsters, your Spectres will die immediately. Almost. Okay, very, very, very crazy right here. Right, so the next below is just what to buy to actually translate into poison SRS, and then your order of buying the rest of the stuff. Okay, next I'm going to talk about what you can farm and what you cannot farm. So what you cannot farm, right, I will say is Legion and Breach. Those mechanics require very fast clearing, and this build just does not have it. It is decent at clearing, but it's not fast at clearing. Okay, so this two will be what I avoid. Delirium as well. I will say you can farm Delirium, but it would not be very nice. So try to avoid that also. And the best thing to actually farm with this build is Invitations. Okay, on top of T17. So T17 is the first, which I will showcase later on my gameplay. And then next will be Invitations. And then the rest is more or less the same. If you want something chill, just go for Harvest. You can do Harbinger, whatsoever. This build can do it all. Okay, over here I'm going to show you a gameplay of how I do my T17 map. So this T17 map is quite juicy and it actually has no really powerful modifier. So I am 100% sure I'm able to do this. Alright, but yeah, I'm just trying to show you how it actually goes. This is the full-fledged version already, so let's just get into it. I am running Strongbox at the moment, the cheap variation one, and I'm just loving it. Alright, it's earning me so much currencies. So yeah, let's just go on with it. Usually when I start, right, I'll just whenever like I walk once in a while, I'll just spam it. Unless if I see like a Strongbox like that, I'll just activate Ball Haze when I can, and yeah, just kill everything. Oh, there's nothing. Let's go again. Okay, let's go. So this map has the Cyrus Awakener's Desolation, which is not really good for us. Pretty much like not good in general for like all builds, because it has a degen, floor degen, which is just bad. Right. And I kind of like love how this build is actually running towards like this map. It's actually very chill, extremely chill, if you will. Yeah, you can see I'm not like being pressured to do anything crazy right here. Oh, we have this. Let me just do it. It's done. It's done. Alright, it's done. Nice. There's 2 more beasts here. Let's just take this. What is this? Rarity. Right. Can we do this? Yeah, definitely can. And this, the current build that I have for you guys, right, is adjusted to actually take players altar for indoor worlds. Alright. It is not difficult. You can literally take every single one of them. That is also one reason why I'm not using the frenzy charge on this, because frenzy charge will reduce defenses, and it's not something that we want. Hurry up! Right, let's go. There are so many minions here. Just casually picking up stuff. Very chill and very tanky. I'm actually amazed that I can do this. I can do T17 like very smoothly, and I will say I still die, but the only times I die is like when my map becomes extremely rippy, or I'm just too over greedy about stuff. Right, otherwise, honestly, I can level up from T17s if I'm just careful a little bit more. Okay, the boss is here. I'm gonna open the portal and show you how I do it. I'm pretty sure the boss is very easy as well. I'm just gonna activate Ball Haze straight away. I'm just gonna keep spamming my SRS to make it full stack. He's already okay. He's already in that phase. That's very fast. Yeah, during this phase you gotta keep spamming, alright? Keep spamming, and it's dead. Come on, give me a good fragment. Nice, not bad. Oh, nice, got a synthesis map as well. Okay, let's see what other things we can get from here, and this is where I'll just continue to proceed to finish my map. However, there is 2 monsters on T17 maps, right? They're actually quite rippy. One is the robot that actually casts ball lightning. Holy crap, that thing is dangerous AF. Alright, that thing alone, doesn't matter what mod you have, that monster alone is just very dangerous. So that's why you gotta keep spamming your SRS so that if they die, your other minions don't die. Just very simple as that. Gonna activate Ball Haste the moment I see a rare monster so that I can clear much faster. Okay, I'm just gonna go one round first. You can actually see that how I'm doing it is really very relaxed and chill. Honestly, I don't know what more you're gonna ask if it's like this chill. However, sometimes the degen floor is very repeat, so you got to be careful, alright? Don't just randomly walk in thinking you'll be alive. Degen is very strong in T17s. Right. So we have gone the outer cycle of it already. I'm gonna prop my Ball Haste. Second time. Anything nice? Nope, nothing nice. Okay, finishing up here, and then we will go the inner rounds of it. Right, here. Let's go, let's complete the inner ones. So roughly for me, I take about 10 minutes to clear one map. Okay, it's not, honestly, it's not the fastest, but I think it's good enough. Alright. Given how tanky it is, the speed at its clearing, shouldn't complain much. Yeah, shouldn't complain much. Alright, big strong box. Done. I'm gonna go down first. This one. Oh, we open again. Ooh, suddenly. Oh, that's an ignore. Okay. Nothing good? Nope, nothing good. We'll wrap up here. 2 chaos orb, it explodes. So many scarab. What's this? Okay, the amount of scarabs you get from this T72 is just insane. Like, you get so much scarab that is so profitable. What? Okay, open again. Okay. Thank you, I guess. Yep, truly very tanky. Like you can see, I'm just literally standing there. Is there anything good for this? Nope.
You're either a client or a target.
Okay, let's see what's this. Let's just kill him.
No witnesses.
Let me show you as well. It's so easy to kill the mercenary like with this build right now. Okay, the last portion below. Here. Gonna wrap it up. So yeah, just remember, right, you can actually do T17s very easily with this build. Just make sure that your map modifier does not have 3 or more damage mods, alright? If not, it's gonna be very repeat. Oh, so many things. Yes, I'm just gonna take all of this. Any more things? Are we done? Yep, we are done. Okay. So that's for your T17 gameplay showcase. Pretty nice, huh? There's a lot of things. Yep.